Hello, my babes. Welcome back to my channel, the Self-Love Template, where we are leveling up our lives in all the ways we know we've needed to for a while now. Drinking my Nixie as per usual, and just getting ready to film my what I spend in a month for July. I honestly cannot believe it is August already. Time is just flying in 2026. I feel like this is the year that has gone by the absolute fastest for me personally. I know they say like, oh, the older you get, the faster time goes by and all this stuff, but like it literally felt like it was in like a vortex or something like that. And it's almost, we literally have like a month of full blown summer left before, the kids here in California are already going back to school and stuff. So it's just crazy to me. It's just absolutely crazy. So, I'm going to go over everything, and this will probably be the last one of these where I cover my categories, because then you can just go back to the earlier videos, like the first three, I guess, and hear about the categories if you want to. So this will be the last one where I'm going to go in depth about my categories. But also, if you want more info about the categories and like how I devise them, I can probably go into that a little bit in this particular video. So in the month of July, I spent a total of $4,870.83, and that includes my expenses and my bills. I was able to invest $2,531.70, which I'm very proud of. I was able to save a total of $75 towards my sinking funds. And I'm going to go through pretty much everything now. So this month for me ended up being a 3-paycheck month, and I always track things from the first of the month to the last day of the month. I don't clear my budget like in advance or anything like that. And to me, it's all relative, because whether you start tracking on a later day in the previous month or the first day of the current month, like it's a 30-day period. So for me, I just want to see each month as a whole, and that's good enough for me. It did kind of irk me a little that we got this third paycheck on the last day of the month. And it also bothered me that this is so stupid, but like we were getting our bonus for quarter 2 on that same pay period. So I had a lot of money coming into me seemingly in the month of July, but really this is going to be more for August, because I'll actually be spending the majority of that money for August. But either way you slice it, I'm still going to have another 2 paychecks in August. I'm just not going to have another quarterly bonus until we get our Q3 bonus. So it just goes to show how really the time periods are all relative, and it's more just about the discipline that you're building in doing the tracking and setting your goals and performing the behaviors that are going to get you to your goals and their completion. So let's go over the numbers. Also, I wanted to point out that this is now going to include all of my credit card expenditures too. I mentioned in my last video that I'm newly using credit cards again, and I am going to do a video about the things that I've been doing to slowly rebuild my credit back from when I kind of had to destroy it purposefully. And I'll also go into that a little bit as well in that video, just kind of give you the background of my financial journey. I may do 2 separate videos for that, but it may end up just being one. because I do want to do one strictly about debt and what I'm doing to change my relationship with debt. But then also there's just like a whole story, backstory for me with finances and having to change my relationship completely with finances and money. So we'll see how I'm going to approach those, but that is definitely on my uh, agenda, so to speak, for finance videos that I want to cover, because I feel like, again, it's just something that not everybody is willing to talk about. And I'm at a phase in my life where I'm very willing to talk about it, just because it's things that I wish someone could have explained to me and saved me a lot of time and effort of trying to understand certain things. But at the same time, I think you just have to go through your own process and journey with personal finance because it's personal to you. So, okay, let's go through these numbers.
Hello, my babes. Editing Victoria here from the future, and I just wanted to check in right at this point of the video in particular because unfortunately my main mic crapped out, the one in my hand, and I had no idea that that's what was happening. But luckily, you see, I always keep a secondary mic on my laptop for that reason, so it's not like all was lost. Otherwise, all of my sound would have been lost. So thankfully, the secondary mic captured everything I said. However, the sound just isn't that great. I tried retouching it in my editing software, and unfortunately, it just really wasn't much better. I think because of how far away the mic was from me and then like ambient noise and stuff. It's still audible, but I just wanted to check in and apologize for the audio quality and let you know why it just all of a sudden got like that. So, lesson learned to be more diligent about checking the light, but I had fully charged them, or so I thought, and just is what it is. Learning curve here on my brand new channel. So, thank you for your patience, and I will let you get back to it. I just wanted to touch base about the sound quality. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of the video.
Including my credit cards. So for groceries, I spent $522.44. That put me $149.92 under budget. Transportation, I went over budget, which was zero, so I spent $6.80. Eating out, I spent $197.15. Coffee and matcha, I spent $10.50. Entertainment, I spent $101.15, and that put me $1.15 over budget. Shopping, I spent $150.32. That put me $15.32. And as I had said in my last two what I spend in a month videos, number one, transportation for me literally just includes Ubers, taxis, parking, tolls, things like that. My car and my gas are two completely separate categories. That's because for me, I do a lot of maintenance on my car to keep it nice because I have a sports car that I'm very obsessed with. And I don't have a garage, which really stinks. But I put a lot of money into maintaining my car. It's not quite a classic yet, but he is the boy actually. I don't know why I said she. Um, his name is Jerome, and he is a 2013 Subaru BRZ. So he is 13 years old at this point and on his way to becoming a classic. So it's important to me to maintain and care for my car diligently. Um, Gas, on the other hand, is a separate category for me because why would I lump that into the maintenance of the car? I like to see how much I'm spending on gas because I also get a gas allowance through work. So there's certain months where I have more of an allowance than others, so I like to just keep an eye on how much I'm actually spending on gas versus how much work is giving me a gas allowance, because to me, that is definitely one of the benefits and perks of my job. But I do work in the field quite a bit. I drive extensively, so it's well deserved, right? So that's why I have transportation, car, and gas as separate categories. Um, Coffee and matcha is really just matcha because I don't drink coffee, as I've said in my other videos. So I haven't bought coffee in a really long time. It's strictly matcha drinks. I basically use matcha as if it's espresso. So I know that's like blasphemous for an Italian girl to admit to, but hashtag health goals. Okay, so entertainment for me is a category that captures things like my subscriptions. It includes if I buy tickets to go to concerts or movies, comedy shows, things like that. My Pandora subscription, my Sirius XM. I keep confusing prescription and subscription. My Sirius XM and Pandora subscriptions and things like that. Audible falls under that category too for me. Shopping is separate from other things. It's, as I've said in my other videos, it's more of a sundry category. Things that I'm gonna buy that don't involve like food groceries, but then also I let my grocery budget capture some sundry as well, because so many grocery stores nowadays have like everything you could possibly need in them. So these two categories kind of feed into one another, but at the same time, it's so rare that I'm buying something that falls in this category. Like, so for me, this could include things like personal hygiene and stuff like that, but I also have a beauty category that ends up capturing a lot of that too. So I don't really use this category all that much. Some months I do, and I'll use like almost all of it, um, or go over like I did this month. Other months I don't even touch it. So it just really depends kind of what's going on for me. So that's shopping. Beard is my 3-year-old Scottish Terrier. So his budget is $277.40 per month. This month I spent $157.35, which put me $120.05 under budget, which was awesome because there are some months where I spend so much money on him, and that is why this category has slowly crept up to where you see it now at $277.40. Health and wellness for me is a category that captures anything that has to do with my health and or my wellness. So this could be supplements that I take. This could be my Massage Envy subscription because massage is a big part of my health regimen. My Pilates membership, my yoga membership, things like that fall under this category. I do have a separate protein category because I'm trying to be mindful of how much I'm spending on that each month since it's new for me. So for health and wellness, I spent $364.33, and that put me $10.67 under budget. Gifts, I spent $49.83 on. Miscellaneous, I spent $0, and I had budgeted $0. Hobbies, I spent $17 on. Clothes, I spent $317.93. That put me $192.21 under budget. For me right now, clothes is a very high ticket budget item because I'm trying to revamp my professional wardrobe as well as my personal wardrobe in some capacities. I've just been really changing my style because the last time I really worked on anything regarding personal style was back in like 2019, and I did do that pretty extensively from probably like 2019 to 2023 probably. And during that time I also lost a lot of weight. Like I had initially bought a lot of clothes because I gained a lot of weight, and then I ended up losing a lot of weight. So similar vibes are happening here, except that I've just been doing a lot more with my health. And I do feel my body changing in a lot of different ways. So I just want to make sure I have clothes that fit me and that I feel confident in, and correlate to the health journey that I'm on right now. So for the next category, it's books. I spent zero. I had budgeted zero. Coaching, which could include anything like coaching from a like life coach kind of situation, therapy from a therapist, um, that kind of stuff. Self-help things fall under this category too. I budgeted zero. I spent zero. Beauty, I spent $429.06, and that put me $14.94 under budget. So I'm very proud of that one because usually I go way over in this category. It's definitely one of my top categories, but it's because it's one that's one of the most important to me because I just have a lot of fun doing things in the beauty realm. I just really enjoy right now doing my skincare, um, putting on makeup sometimes, like just anything like that. Like I'm really, really just having a ball with all of that. So it's been that way for a little bit now, and I never really was into stuff like that back in the day. So it's just like something that I'm fine with having it be a more high ticket item in my budgeting world. These is one that I'm not proud of. This month I had budgeted $2 for an ATM fee that I knew I was going to accrue because I was in a pickle and I had to use like a liquor store ATM because our laundromat or our laundry room is still broken, and I've been needing to use the laundromat, and I was running out of quarters, and the only way I could get new quarters was if I took cash out. So that was the closest option, and I had allocated the $2, but I ended up spending $27.50, which put me $25.50 over budget, and that was because I did accrue an overdraft charge from not paying attention to something and not moving money fast enough into my checking account for expenses, because I try to only keep what I need in my bills account. Like I do things the way like Tiffany Alashay says to do them, where you basically have like a bills account and a spending account. So my spending account is Charles Schwab, which I mentioned in the last video. I highly recommend getting a Charles Schwab checking account if you do not have one. They are completely free and it's impossible to overdraft. So that's why it is my spending account, but my bills account is my credit union, which I've had for way longer, and I do really love them. And they are really good about refunding fees. So if I were to call, they would just refund it. But this happens for me kind of often. I'm not gonna lie. Like I will just forget to move something over. You've seen it happen now in 2 videos. I'm a human being. I still make mistakes. I'm doing the best that I can. And, it just goes to show how, even with me tracking once a week, you really do have to track more than that in order to stay on top of everything. And I've kind of been like wanting to make a deal with myself the way Kate Northrup says from Money a Love Story. Like, make a deal with yourself that you're going to look at your bank account at least once a day. And that's something that I struggle with because I'll tend to like get fixated on things when I look. So I'll then like avoid looking. So I really need to just look every day. So I need to make that deal with myself, and you're catching it here on camera. So hold me to it. Anyways, moving on to the next category. These are my bills and subscriptions. So I spent total for bills $2,519.47. So that includes my rent, gas, utilities, shipping for my eBay business, my car, my income streams, which are like other projects that I'm working on for monetization. I have a notary loan signing business, and then I also have my YouTube channel. So sometimes that costs me money. Another category in the bills realm is my protein budget. So for gas, I spent $177.88. That put me $27.88 over budget. I am probably going to need to up this category because obviously gas has increased quite a bit since when I had set this. I've also been a little slower at work, and also I've been trying to maximize my reimbursements from work. So I'll tend to pay for my gas when I have higher mileage trips coming up, because we do get our mileage reimbursement when we don't use our gas allowance. So sometimes that has to do with it too, because I'll end up making more money by putting out the gas money and then getting that money back in a mileage reimbursement. Utilities for me, I ended up spending $189.40. That put me very well under the budget. For that one is $349.09. So for utilities, that includes the obvious like gas, trash, electric, but I also include in this category laundry, and then my cell phone and my internet all go under this category too. Shipping for my eBay business, I ended up spending $24.12. That put me under budget, which my budget is $35. My car, I only spent $120 on, which was nice, and that put me very under budget. My budget is $400.06. A lot of my budgets too, I just come up by looking at my spending for the last like 3-month period, and then I'll just average it out. Or if I'm starting a new year, then I'll usually look at everything from the previous year, take an average from that, and then put it into the subsequent year. The only problem with that is that things increase in price. So a lot of the time, like, it starts out okay the first couple months, and then as prices are incrementally going up, the budget is just like not matching anymore. So I think for some people, having their budget is where they are attempting to save money. So they put their budget really, really low, or like Tiffany Alichet will talk about having a ramen noodle budget, where it's basically like what you can survive off of at like the bare minimum, and that everybody needs to have kind of like a shoestring budget like that, versus having a budget where you are making more money. You would use your shoestring budget at a time when money is really tight for whatever reason, and you're unable to have income to supplement your daily cost of living and subsistence. So for me, it's more like I need to track what I'm spending, because historically I've always spent way too much money, and I spent for reasons that really had nothing to do with anything other than it gave me that dopamine hit or whatever, and like it was a way to control things. I wouldn't go so far as to call myself like a shopaholic or anything like that, but definitely spent money to make myself feel better. And I had to learn how to create financial goals and implement financial goals and stick to them and honor them, like get excited about them. Like these are all things that I'll cover in my financial story video, but just to give you like that little bit of background, I don't have my budgets in place because it's like I have to stick to them or something crazy is going to happen. I have my budgets in place because I'm trying to curtail my spending and only spend on things that are just really in line with my values. That's something Ramit Sethi talks a lot about, and I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And I think he's absolutely right. In order to have a rich life, like he says, your spending should be geared towards the things that bring you the most joy. So all of my categories are very strategic, and they have to do with the things that bring me the most joy and bring my life the most meaning and fulfillment. I've not done one of his conscious, I think they're called like conscious spending plans. Is that what Ramit Sethi calls them? But I do intend to do one at some point. So if you've ever done one, comment below and let me know what your experience was with it, because I would absolutely love to hear it. I do love watching his podcast and listening to the different people who come on. It's usually couples, but like listening to them talk about their conscious spending plans. So I am going to be doing also a video on my top 5, maybe more. We'll see. But I'm going to shoot for my top 5 financial creators. It was a video that one of you requested, and I think it's actually a really great idea. So I do have it on my agenda of videos to do for the finance sector of this channel. So watch out for that. And Ramit Sethi will definitely be on there, obviously. Most of the people who I talk about regularly are going to end up being on there, but I'll go into depth about why I'm choosing them in that video. So tune into that one when it comes out. For my income streams, I spent $120.35. So that put me a little over budget by like 20 bucks basically, because I had budgeted this month $103.45. And that's another thing about my budget categories is I will go through when I'm doing my financial reset. Because again, I use Gabby Peterson's tools, and she also does this when she does her financial resets. But she'll kind of think of what she has to do that coming month and set her categories and the budget for each category based on what she has going on. So like I haven't done that yet for this month for August, but I have a vacation this month. I am going to be spending money like less, not, I don't want to say less intentionally, because I'm just coming off of a 2-month no spend. So it's not like I have to be super duper strict about how I'm going to spend the money. So for instance, today is August 2nd. Yesterday was August 1st. I spent quite a bit of money yesterday. And it was because I was like, all right, I'm done with this no spend. Like, I am ready to let some of this cash like burn a hole in my pocket, right? So I ended up buying quite a bit of stuff. I also got like a coffee in the morning, or a matcha rather. So I got like a matcha in the morning. I got a protein out, which isn't abnormal for me, but like I also spend money on other things. And, um, you know, I haven't sat down yet for August to say like, okay, each of these categories, this is what I'm going to spend on in relation to my vacation and the fact that I'm going to be spending money a little more nonchalantly. So of the budget categories for July, because I was in month 2 of a 2-month no spend, I only had set spending categories for my bare necessities and for the things that I'm just never going to budge on, like my beauty budget, right? I'm just never going to budge on that. I want to be able to get my nails done. I want to be able to buy beauty products when I want or need them. So, like in that effect, I didn't worry about, okay, I'm like not going to set this to a 0 for this category because I know I'm going to spend money in that category. some of the categories I had set to 0, and then I ended up spending because I think this happened in the last month video too. I mentioned this. Like in this case, you'll see I'll go over some of the expenditures, and I had friends in town who I don't ever get to see, so I'm not going to not spend money with them, right? I don't feel like that's right to be like, hey, I'm gonna no spend. Like you can mention it to them, and maybe they're gonna like I've had that before when I'm in a no spend, and my friend will be like, oh, don't worry, I got you, I'll pay for you, and that's really sweet, because they want you to be able to like do so without guilt. In this case, it was one of my very close friends. Her mother had just died. I took her out to dinner. That's to me appropriate, right? Or someone I hadn't seen in 3 months. That was appropriate to me to go out with her. She wanted to go out, and we went out. Things like that where I'm not going to not spend on someone just because I'm in a no spend. I have the means to do it. And I think if I were in a very strict no spend and I didn't have the means, that would be my responsibility to say, hey, I can't really hang out with you because you know, I literally can't spend money right now. Would you want to come over and have a cup of tea at my house or something like that? Like that's where you have to kind of use your discretion and what works for you. But again, some of my categories were initially set to 0 at the beginning of the month, but then I came back in here and adjusted for the expenditures that I made as concessions because, again, I'm not going to not spend money. My friends, especially in this case, my friends are like my family and I love them to pieces. So, of course, I'm going to want to spend money on them, especially when we're either not seeing each other for a really long time or something crazy is happening in their life. I want to support the people that I love who love and support me back. So that's the deal with that. So the last category is protein, and I spent $110.94 on protein, and I had budgeted $268. So that's that. Okay, so let's go through some of these. I'll start with beauty. So I have a Truly Plus membership, which gets billed quarterly. That was my first transaction for beauty at $16.57. I had some add-ons through Ipsy Original that I spent $27.63 on. I added some add-ons to my Ipsy Extra for $14.37. I paid my Sugar Cove membership for July, which is a sugaring in place of waxing for my Brazilians. So that one was $68. I also had my Scentbird come for July. That was $43.10. I got my nails done for July, which I usually try to go every 3 weeks to get my nails done, which works out to be once a month. So that just works really well for me. So I got a gel manicure and I got a deluxe pedicure, gel pedicure. I also had to fix one of my toenails because from hiking and wearing steel toe boots all the time, my toes get really abused, which is also why I get deluxe pedicures because my feet are just between like driving all the time and my hobbies, which are hiking, and I also play the drums, which involves your feet and stuff like that. I just try to really take care of my feet. Also, yoga. I think it's important to like pamper your feet. So all of that costed me $150, and that included the tips to both my manicurist and my pedicurist. Paid my Ipsy Original for August because they charge you on the last business day of the month for the subsequent month. So for my Ipsy Original for August, I spent $18.78. My Ipsy Ultimate, which is once a quarter, they give you 8 like full-size luxury products. So that one was $74.03. I also subscribe to their Beauty Boost, which each month gives you one more full size, usually luxury product. So that was $16.58. And that's it for beauty. Okay, so clothes is the next category. The first one is I paid towards my Wantable Style Edit for $46.96. I paid towards another style edit for Wantable for $55.38. I ordered a sleep edit through Wantable for $11.05. I paid towards a sleep edit for $30.68. I paid another installment towards my first style edit for $46.97. And I had both those charges for I believe the second style edit and the sleep edit for $102.63. Also, I had to buy an emergency pair of very cute, I might add, Pilates socks at my Pilates place, which is called Club Pilates. That was $24.26, which really stinks. So I'm very glad that they were absolutely adorable because most of their socks cost around $20 a pair. So I was in a pinch. I just totally forgot to pack ones in my bag. So I kind of like had to do it, and I was pissed in the moment, but honestly, they're literally so cute that I don't mind. And that's the truth. So beard is the next category. So I had to pay for a dog walker on July 1st for $15. It was just a quick little walk. Beard got a bath on July 11th for $40. That includes the tip and everything. My girl Connie, she's so good. I bought treats and chews for him on the 6th for $38 from Pet Supplies Plus. Say that 3 times fast. He got another bath on July 31st for $40. And we bought more treats and chews on the 27th for $24.35. Car is the next category. So I got a car wash detail for $60 on July 1st. I got another detail on July 13th for $60, and that includes tip as well. That's it. That's it for car. Income streams is the next category. So my Epidemic Sound membership came through on July 1st for $18.31. That's for the soundtrack to all of my YouTube videos, royalty-free music. I bought labels to make personalized pens for some little swag bags that I'm making for my notary business. So that was $17.31 on the 21st. I pay monthly for my Adobe subscription, which is $14.99. I bought a bunch of little odds and ends to put into my swag bags for my notary and loan signer business on the 31st, and that was $69.74. I'm going to skip over groceries because I already gave you the grand total, and I just don't think it matters to go into depth with those. Same thing with utilities and stuff. I don't know. I just personally don't find those ones to be that necessary to dive deep into. I am going to look at the protein category because it's one that I'm monitoring personally. So I bought some protein at Mother's for $38.08. And I believe this was the Garden of Life protein and greens. I bought that on July 2nd. I bought, I think, protein bars from, I forget the name of the brands, but I wanted to try out a couple new protein bar brands, and Target has a pretty good selection, so I bought a few, and that was $9.56 on July 9th. On July 18th, I bought a protein out at Jan's Health Bar for $13.95, which includes a tip. I got a protein matcha on July 2nd for $7.15. I got a protein out at Lazy Acres for $8.25 on the 6th. I got a protein out on July 20th from Mother's for $10. I got another protein on July 27th from Jan's Health Bar for $13.95. And then I got another protein shake for $10 from Lazy Acres on the 28th. So this month was a lot more like a mix of things: bars, powders, proteins out. For health and wellness, which is the next category, I paid $19.99 for my Grounds app membership on July 2nd, $85 to my Massage Envy subscription for June on July 4th. I think I paid it late that month. I paid it again for July on the 17th, so both of those were $85. I bought my matcha, which has adaptogens in it, and that was $27.35 on the 11th. I paid my Pilates membership for the month of July on July 23rd for $129. I also paid my yoga membership to Ali Kamenova's video library of yoga, and that was $12.99 on the 24th. I went on a hike at Santiago Oaks, and the entry fee for OC Regional Parks was $5 for the weekend for July 6th. And that's it for health and wellness. Transportation is the next category, so I did use the toll roads of Orange County on July 4th weekend, and that was $4.80. I parked in Redondo Beach for a Numa Church event, and I had to pay for parking on the 12th. That was $2. That's it for transportation. Hobbies is the next category. For that one, I spent $3 on Amber Akila's Patreon on July 16th. I also paid for my women's writing group, which is $8 a month through Substack on July 12th. I also got another charge for Kate Clearlight, who is also known as Plant Folk Apothecary. She has an amazing Substack that I highly recommend checking out. The membership for that, if you choose to go the paid route, is only $6, and it includes like a handwritten quarterly, gorgeously done newsletter. It's just absolutely intentional and mind-blowing, and I just love it, and I love her, and it's worth every penny. That's it for hobbies. Entertainment is the next category. So for that, on the 4th, I was charged $18.49 for my HBO Max subscription. I spent $10.99 on my Pandora subscription for July, and that was on the 17th. I bought tickets to see the Odyssey in Dolby Cinema format for $27.18 on July 17th. My Amazon Prime membership for July came through on the 22nd, and that was $16.56. My SiriusXM membership came through on the 27th for $12.98. My Audible membership for July came through on the 30th for $14.95. And that's it for entertainment. Eating out is the next category. So the first one was for $16.54 from Chipotle. I was working a night shift for a private client, and I ended up just going to Chipotle because it was very nearby, and it was the only way I was going to be able to really like eat dinner quickly and healthily. So that was like I had to because of my work schedule, which is very variable, and I don't always know when I'm going to be working nights versus weekends or days or whatever. It's like sometimes things change multiple times a day. It's very variable. So sometimes I just got to do what I got to do. I bought popcorn when I went to go see The Odyssey at AMC Del Amo 18 for $10.09. I went to Ubuntu, which is a neighborhood cafe with beautiful ambiance here in Long Beach that's outdoors that Beard can go to. And I hadn't seen my friend in a really long time, so we went out and had a really beautiful afternoon slash evening and really great drinks and food. And it was $86.50, which included everything plus tips. I went to Zarape, which is a kind of newer, fancier Mexican restaurant here in Belmont Shores. And that was with my friend Izzy, who I have not seen in many months. So we had like a wonderful little girl evening. She stayed over my house and stuff like that. So we went to Zarape. That was $34.19. And then we got ice cream from Sorry Not Sorry. And I am not sorry that we got the ice cream. So I my half was $6.95. And I went with my friend Amy to Bakari, which is a brand new restaurant on Naples. And that was my half for that was $42.88. The next category is gifts. Again, for gifts, I always put, like, if I pay for someone, I will put it in this category. So when we went to Sorry Not Sorry for ice cream with Izzy, the half that I paid for her was $6.95. And then the half that I paid of my dinner at Bakari with my friend Amy was $42.88. So that is all of my transactions for the month of July. I can, like I said, not believe that we are already in August, but thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, just want to chat about anything, throw it below in the comments. I would love to see it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. And just so you guys know, I also have vlogs in case you wanted to check any of those out. And I also do sit down videos on various self-love topics. And the reason that I do finance is because for me, my financial category of my life has been integral and inextricable to my self-love journey as a whole. So I do believe that the two are inextricably linked. I have done a video on that in the past. I will try to link it, and you can check that one out if you want to. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you for all of your love and support. It literally means the world to me. I've been having a ball doing all of this and learning and showing up. It's just been an amazing experience, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you who comments, who likes, who subscribes, who shares the video with people who you think would resonate with it. Like, all of that stuff really matters, and I don't mean it in the sense of like, oh, that's what we need to make the channel grow. Obviously, yes, that is what makes the channel grow, but it's more just like, I think it's awesome to have you guys to talk about this aspect of my life with and to share this aspect of my life with. So again, thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time watching. Thank you for the feedback, everything. I appreciate all of it, and I'm sending you all my love as per usual, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!